We're calling all writers, storytellers, and creators of tales of the paranormal and supernatural. Do you have a spine-tingling story that's too chilling to keep to yourself? If the answer is yes, then wherever you are in the world, the Haunted UK Fiction Podcast wants to hear from you. Whether you're a published author, an aspiring writer, or someone with a natural gift for storytelling, this is your chance to share your work with a global audience of listeners who crave the eerie, the unexplained, the otherworldly. We're looking for original fictional short stories or novellas with strong paranormal or supernatural themes. Your stories can be suspenseful, mysterious, atmospheric, terrifying, thought-provoking, even darkly magical. If your story is selected, we'll professionally narrate, record, mix, and master it into an audiobook-style format, then feature it on the show. You'll get a copy of the finished production to use however you like, and you'll retain full ownership of your work. There are no fees, no contracts, and no hidden jargon. Your story deserves to be heard. Whether it's a tale that's been haunting your notebook for years, or maybe something that you're finally ready to unleash, this is your chance to bring it to life. To submit your story for consideration, email us at hauntedukfiction@hotmail.com. And don't forget to follow the show on Instagram at hauntedukfiction. Now sit back and enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome, dear listeners, to Haunted UK Fiction, a sister podcast to The Haunted UK, which features original flash fiction, short stories and novellas with paranormal themes. All stories you will hear were written by a collection of talented writers, authors and storytellers, both independent and professional. To celebrate Halloween, we've decided to introduce a new concept as part of the show: Flash Fiction Fridays. Some bite-sized bonus content for your spooky listening pleasure. In today's episode, we'll be reading Helen, Something in the Cellar, which was written by Melissa West and first released on her podcast, The Skylark Bell, as part of a collaboration with the Haunted UK podcast back in 2022. The story is based on a real-life encounter that was relayed to a friend of mine by his father and subsequently shared with me. Melissa then took that story and rewrote it from the perspective of the ghost itself. Get comfortable, grab a little something to sip on, perhaps cuddle up under a blanket to help offset the chills coming your way. And let's dive into the story.
I didn't mean to scare the boy. I promise I didn't. I didn't mean to make the people shout. I didn't mean to make Papa cross either. It's just that, well, I've been down here such an awful long time. It gets quite lonely, you know. I don't know how long it's been since that day. I don't much like to talk about it, but since you asked, I guess I was born a bit clumsy. It took me longer than most to learn to walk. I remember Mama saying, "Your brother Henry was walking before his first birthday." She was so happy when I finally took a few steps. But there was still quite a lot of stumbling and tumbling, which led to me getting a few bumps and bruises. Up until that day, though, the only damage done had been to my body. The previous week, Grandma Yvette had given Mama a lovely vase for her birthday. Mama got some flowers from the market to put in the vase and placed it on the side table next to the sofa. The flowers made Mama so happy. I love it when Mama's happy. My big brother Henry was running around as usual, taunting me because I couldn't catch him. My legs and feet just would not go where I wanted them to. I tried and tried to go faster. If I could catch Henry, maybe Mama would be happy. Mama had been crying a lot the last few days. If I could catch Henry, maybe Papa would be proud of me. He had been shouting a lot the last few days. If I could catch Henry, maybe everything would get better. So, I took a deep breath and charged at Henry with all my might, and crash! My knee gave out, and I slammed into the side table, sending the vase hurtling toward the floor. It landed with a smash, shards of glass flying everywhere, and water seeping between the rapidly wilting flower petals. I stayed put on the floor, frozen in fear. A large shadow hovered in the doorway. Papa. Papa had just come home. Papa had seen the whole incident. The shadow came toward me, and Papa came into view. He was walking funny, too. Maybe I get it from him. His eyes were glassy, and his eyebrows were furrowed. He smelled like that terrible smell when he gets grumpy. Mama says it's his medicine that smells like that. I don't know what kind of medicine it is, but I hope I don't ever have to take it. "Look what you've done," Papa shouted so loudly that my ears started to ring. He grabbed my shoulders, and I knew just what he was going to do. I started kicking and screaming, begging him not to, apologizing, calling for Mama. Papa carried me to the door that leads to the cellar. I grabbed onto the door frame, trying to stop him from pushing me through, but he was stronger than I was, and my fingernails collected paint as they scraped across the wood. Once I was through the door, he promptly closed it, and I heard the latch close. I was locked in the basement. I kicked and scratched and banged on the door. I stomped my feet. I screamed for Mama. I screamed to be let out. Then I just screamed. I marched around the cellar looking for a way to escape, but the windows were all blocked off, and it was pitch black. I sat on the cold cellar floor and cried loudly, wailing until my throat got scratchy and I couldn't wail anymore. Finally, I crawled back up the stairs, my hands and feet and throat raw from the tantrum, and I sat on the very top step, silently heaving, until my breathing returned to normal. I think I fell asleep then. I'm not entirely sure. All I remember is waking to the door being forcefully pushed open, which sent me flying through the air. My body crashed onto the cellar's stone floor, hard. Then everything went dark, which is strange, because it was already so dark in the cellar. But this was a darker kind of dark, a nothing kind of dark. When I woke again, I was still in the cellar, but there was more light. I could see the pile of coal in the corner that we used to heat the house, and the machine that washed our clothes. I remember helping Mama with that once. She had been happy that day too, washing up little pajamas for the new baby that was in her belly. That baby in her belly became my brother, James. But now there were no baby pajamas. Now there were storage bins piled along the wall with things inside them that I had never seen. I tried to go up the stairs, but when I got to the top, the door wouldn't budge. I sat on the top step for a while, but then I remembered how much it hurt last time I sat on the top step, so I came back down and waited. I waited and waited and waited. Then one day I heard the door open and some footsteps coming down. "Mama," I whispered. I saw an older man, a stranger. I hid in the corner and watched him as he walked to the back of the cellar to fill a small bucket with coal. "Hello?" I tried again. This time, I saw the man stand straight up and turn around very quickly. He looked toward me, but his eyes kept moving around, almost like he couldn't see me. He shook his head and walked quickly across the cellar and back up the stairs, closing the door tightly behind him. I don't know how much time went by. Maybe it was years? Over and over again, the man would come to the cellar to get coal. Sometimes a woman would come down instead. Sometimes she would come and wash clothes, and I would stand nearby, eager to help. Sometimes I would look at her funny outfits and giggle. I don't think she liked that very much. She would always hurry to collect the washing and scurry back upstairs. Then came the boy. I had never seen him before. He was much younger than the man and the woman. I watched him walk slowly across the cellar, carrying his little bucket. He scooped a little bit of coal into it, but some pieces fell onto the floor. He was clumsy like me. I let out a giggle, and the boy spun around, his eyes wide. He looked so very scared. I felt quite terrible about the whole thing. He hurried across the cellar with his bucket and ran up the stairs. I got scared too then. What if Papa got mad at me for scaring the boy? A while later, I heard the people upstairs shouting. They were saying things like, "I told you she was down there," and "I didn't think it was real," and "Why didn't you tell me?" I guess maybe they do know I'm here. Why don't they let me out? Maybe they're also mad at me for being clumsy. Maybe they're afraid I'll break something. Maybe they're mad I scared the boy. So I stay in the cellar. It's not so bad, you know. Sometimes people come down here and I say hello, or just stand close to them while they go about their tasks. I keep hoping maybe someday one of them will take my hand and lead me through the door at the top of the stairs. Then I can see Mama and Henry and James again, and maybe even Grandma Yvette, and I can find Mama a new vase and go pick some flowers for her in our yard. Maybe I can even see the sunshine. It's been so very long since I've seen the sunshine. Or maybe you could come find me down here, and we could be friends. I know lots of wonderful games and nursery rhymes. I think we'd have quite a time in the cellar, you and me. Don't be afraid. After all, I'm just a little girl.
That brings us to the end of this episode. We truly hope you enjoyed this spine-tingling bite-sized tale. If you would like to hear more from Melissa, you can find her collection of novels and short stories on the Skylark Bell podcast, available on all major podcast platforms. Links to her website, social media, and contact information can be found in the show's notes. If you have an original story that would send a chill down our spines and you'd like to submit it for review, simply send it in to hauntedukfiction@hotmail.com. That's hauntedukfiction@hotmail.com. Until next time, stay safe and take care.